like I'm not a musician, you guys are, but it just seemed to...
Well, I'm not.
I'm a drummer. Be careful.
But
He's like a kicker on a football team.
Right.
All right, welcome back to the Say What You Will podcast. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
With Mark, Dennis, and Derek, each month looking back 40 years to the month of rock albums and seeing if they hold up via our opinion.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there. Cool. So these are April albums, even though this dropped in May. But be sure to check us out on Twitter. Say What You Will podcast. Just look it up. You can find it. If you Google it, you'll see it. Just created a Facebook group. I'll put that in the show notes or the link to it. And the podcast is also on YouTube, but it's just audio. It's there. Subscribe because maybe there'll be video coming in the future. But what's going on, guys?
not much.
Not too much.
Right?
A rainy day.
Yeah, you may hear rain in the background hitting my tin roof in the cabin. Or Mark eating some chips.
What do you mean? I'm not eating chips.
What's up, Dennis? Anything?
No, actually, lot happening in the news.
Yeah.
I think one of the things I'd like to toss out is the new Extreme album.
I was just going to bring that up.
All right.
I was just looking at Noodle Betancourt here, and I'm like, has anyone heard that album?
Yes.
Yeah.
Heard a couple tunes. It's good.
Yeah.
And I'm not a huge Sharon fan.
You've made that.
I mean,
You've
Noodle's
made that
awesome.
clear.
The music's awesome. He's just not my kind of front man, I guess.
Well, the Extreme always had like that funk rock type of vibe going,
Yeah.
But this album, I think, is definitely highlighting Nuno's his guitar playing. I mean, it's more to me of a heavier album than music than they typically do. There's 3 songs that are available, and they sound great.
Yeah, Rise came out first, and the solo in that, everyone's
They're
talking
saying it's
about.
like one of the greatest solos ever.
Yeah.
Not just for now.
It's unbelievable. He does thread in a little bit of Flight of the Bumblebee, his solo in there, but it is just ripping. It's ripping your head off. And I saw an interview with Nuno, and he was, everyone's talking about the guitar, and he said, when this album comes out, you'll be shocked. He goes, I think it's actually Gary's album. And I was like, really? And he's, I'm thinking to myself. But hearing those 2 other tunes, Banshee and Rebel.
Yeah.
The Rebel one, holy fuck, it's Gary.
Yeah.
Like Gary is. I mean, the song is heavy and killer, but Gary is killing it.
Yeah,
and I don't know
really?
how old Sharon is, but he can still sing
Well,
his ass off.
he's a good singer. I never had a problem with it as far as talent. For me, it was more just style.
Yeah.
Like Freddie Mercury is a legend. He's great.
Yeah.
But I'm not into Freddie Mercury. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you're not talented.
Are you into the songs, but not so much?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the first 2 Extreme albums, I love the music. The first album is the music on the riffs on it are outstanding, and then of course, Porno Graffiti, just the guitar playing, and I love all that. And but it's just Sharon's not my type of guy that I like.
I bought tickets. I'll see him at the casino.
And just watching Nuno all night.
Oh, totally.
I'm just really interested to hear the rest of that album.
I know.
I wonder
Did you
what
hear that Rebel song?
Yeah, I downloaded
Holy
it.
smokes.
I bought them. I didn't want to wait. I just wanted to really kind of deep dive into those 3 songs, and I
saw the one video. It was was like, wow, this
It-
is good.
I think for us, because we listen to the music more so. I mean, it's just the musicianship, the guitar. I mean, it's just the guitar playing. He shreds.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
Badger's good too. He's like Michael Anthony. You can't be in a band with an Eddie or a Joe Satriani and not be top notch.
Oh yeah.
Even though Pat Badger's not Billy Sheehan, you still got to have your shit
Oh.
together to play with Nuno Betancourt in
Yeah.
a band. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever played like this. Do you?
No.
It's almost
No.
like
It's
he's
aggressive.
on a quest to
This
make
is
a statement.
This is him. And I've heard other, people on the radio, and I think Trunks even said it. Like, not that anyone could pick up the torch of Eddie,
Yeah.
but he is just letting it fly.
Well, wasn't one of those songs dedicated? Like,
The Rise one, the solo, he
memory,
totally
yeah.
dedicated it.
Yeah.
You can hear, and then the other one, maybe it's a Rise. He does do some like Eddie-ish licks, in between fills, but just ripping. And that first, the other one, Banshee. At first, I didn't like it. I was like, and then I gave it another listen or two, and it's pretty raw. It's almost like their first album stuff.
yeah. See, I love that first
Yeah.
album's rawness.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, they just let loose. It's almost like you listen to the song, and even if you don't like the songwriting, you're like, maybe it's a 7 out of 10. The musicianship and his playing, it's 10 out of 10 because the song goes, and and there's like a hesitation, and then all of a sudden you hear him starting to build up, and it's like then he just hauls ass into this solo. It's like, oh my
I thought
God.
the writing was good. I thought the lyrical content, the words like on that first album.
Get the funk out.
No, before that,
No,
the first album.
There was a lot of,
Play With Me and Hopscotch. He was just saying all these kid game things, and it's like I thought the songs were there. I didn't like the lyrical content.
and they've gotten so much better.
But that changed, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's totally changed.
Yeah.
But they also they started getting kind of like Queen with some of those.
Well, there are 3 sides to every
That
story
one.
album is a I mean, it touches everything. It touches the whole spectrum, but definitely Queen type thing. It sounds like these 3 songs you'll hear me mention tonight with some of these bands. These 3 songs sound like they've been worked. Like they didn't sound like they just hit record and said, "Let's go."
Well,
And
the thing is, you have time now. The old days, your labels are pushing you to put out albums every year.
Yeah,
you didn't
yeah.
have time to
yeah.
focus on the songs and get them tight. Where now, Extreme, there's
I
no
think it's
rush
been like
to get an
8
Extreme
years
album.
since
Yeah.
their last album.
Right. They got all the time in
Right.
the world to write an album.
You should see. Also, look this up. Sammy did one of his. I wanted to say cribs, but it's Sammy's road show that he does. You can find it on YouTube. Him,
Yeah.
Nuno, and Gary. Sammy goes and here's the first album. I mean, here's this album a little bit, and then they go out and they play on Nuno's balcony, and they play the Who, and it is so good, like so good. But Nuno shows in his studio at his house that where Gary's doing vocals, it's just this. He created this little box on a desk, and there's a mic inside, and that's where he's doing his vocals for this album.
Wow.
Yeah.
Picture that over a Sunset
Hey,
studio.
you don't need that anymore.
It's unbelievable.
You can record a whole album in this thing.
Yeah. And then engineer it somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
So can't wait for that to come out.
that's a good one. That would be good. Do you have anything else, Mark?
Yeah. Go, Mark.
Well, we can jump back to you if you want.
Yep.
No, the only thing I saw was Hagar was kind of burning on Dave again
Yeah.
about.
And a lot of people are upset at that. They were like, Dave, give it a... I mean, Sam,
Yeah,
give it
it's
a
like
rest.
why are you even bringing it up?
Yeah.
Like, who cares? He's talking about the Sam and Dave tour, how he made a lot more money and should make a lot more money than Dave on that tour. And it's like, so what?
Yeah.
It's such a moot point
Now.
now.
Yeah.
So I don't know why he feels the need to keep taking jabs at. I mean, Dave did take some jabs at Hagar over the
Oh,
years
yeah.
as well, but
Yep.
I don't know.
So I follow Greg Renoff on
Yep.
Twitter. He's awesome with Van Halen stuff.
yeah.
Like, just great. great insight. I've asked him some questions like that Mean Street, the Fair Warning tour where you sent me that started really weird. And
they kind of did a jam.
Yeah, on fire, whatever. And I sent them a message about like, what's going on? And he's the one that said, I imagine they had problems with lights or the curtain or whatever.
Something happened.
And they had to circle back and do that.
But didn't it sound awesome?
Oh, it sounded great.
The riffs that Eddie was playing, I'd never heard before.
Right.
Yeah. Well, he was improvising.
Yeah, he just out there jamming.
Killing time.
Yeah.
But anyways, Greg and Martha Quinn, you guys remember her, did a Twitter Spaces live thing last Saturday night. And it was about the 83 US Festival. And they wanted to, because someone posted something to the two of them saying something about Quiet Riot. And we all know where we stood on the last podcast about Quiet Riot. But so they created this Twitter space, and it was a live thing. So I tuned in Saturday night, put my headphones in and listened to it. And Rudy Sarzo was on it. So he spoke, and they were talking about that concert. And there's some interesting things that I never knew. Quiet Riot had done a show like the day before. They had another show. They had the US Festival and then another show the next day, and it was somewhere. They didn't have equipment because they had sent their crew to the other show. So they just borrowed equipment for the US Festival, like local people that had gear and everything. Really? I mean, they had their guitar. I don't think the drummer was playing his kit. He borrowed it. Wow. The guitar and bass, they had those with them. But yeah, they totally rented it, and their album had just come out, so people really didn't know who they were.
Right.
And then, so they were talking about that. But he was saying Frankie's set was not his normal set. Right. It was just a rented set. Oh. And I was like, can you imagine playing in that crowd?
Yeah, what, 300,000 or something?
You know what, though? I'd be more nervous in a club than something like that because it's so you're so removed from that crowd.
He was talking
when you
about
got someone
that,
staring at you from 20 feet away when you're playing, it's a little bit more stressful, I think. These guys can't see this sea of people. You know how far the drummer is from that crowd?
Yeah.
But they were good.
Feet. But still, you want to
impress.
Good. Yeah.
Well, they did. I mean, they said on this live Twitter that that's what really propelled them. Then they did the MTV stuff, and I mean that album, as much as we hated it, it went #1.
Sure, and at the time it was really it defined that like period as far as the music that was coming.
What do you think they needed 2 songs to do that? You think Mental Health alone would have made that album what it was, or they need Come On Feel the Noise? Is one song enough?
Yeah.
For that band.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing else basically on that album. I don't know if one song can really do that for a band.
Yeah. I think
it's just bizarre.
Right.
Oh, well, somebody said they're a one-hit wonder. Right?
So the other thing is a guy brought up. There was some other speakers on the panel, and another guy brought up that Van Halen, that kit that Al plays, you may know this, is the only time he's ever played that kit.
Yeah, it was for the US Festival.
It was for the US Festival. Yeah. And then that was it.
That was it.
I was like, what? He had a kit done.
Because they just come off Diver Down.
Right.
And that was that black kit, a totally different kit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he used it one night. And I don't know where it is.
Yeah, well, that's just it. I'm like, wonder where that is.
Because a lot of his kits are in museums and stuff like that.
Wow.
And then they laid down the stripes on the stage. That was the only thing they did. And then they had a huge party tent backstage area that they created.
Well, that whole party thing they did, it was supposed to be like they're having a huge party and then they walk out on stage. Mm-hmm. That was all filmed a week before the concert. It's fake. It was all Dave. Dave's like, let's film this backstage party. You know, we had goats walking around and strippers and, the whole Dave thing and doing all this back. And then come on, let's go. And they walked to the stage. It was all fake. It was done a week before the concert.
So Mark Goodman, though, was on it also, and he talked about the interview that they did. About
the interview might have been real.
That was real. The Taylor lady getting down on her knees and sucking the air out of it.
Yeah, but that other footage is all staged.
So one more thing, and I'll go back to you for some news. so for whatever reason, I went back and this is on Alex Van Halen, and Mark, you could chime in on this. I went back and listened to 5150 for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm a Dave fan, but I was like, I'm going to just put that in and see what memories come back.
Yeah.
And listening to that, I was like, that wasn't that far removed from Bonham's death. When did Bonham die? 80?
80.
And I was thinking, in 83, when they recorded that album.
What album?
50. Oh, no, excuse me, 86.
Yeah.
Or 85.
Well, 85, yeah. That came out in 86.
Do you think if Bonham was alive, he'd be using electronic drums? Because that's the only thing that bugs me about that album.
Well, he used it on 84.
Yeah, but it's really prominent on 5150. Like, it really stands out.
Yeah, I hated it. That's why I hated that album at first.
Yeah.
I didn't like the sound of
but
the
like,
drums.
Would Bonham be doing that?
But what motivated him to even go that route, especially a hard rock band? Well, you know what? You know who else did that? Blotzer on Out of the Cellar. That's all
that
fake.
Beginning.
Acoustic drums. That.
Well, Pyromania.
Well, apparently he's not even playing on it.
Yeah.
You got that article?
Oh, no,
I
that
sent you
didn't
guys?
come up. That didn't. I couldn't. I said bad.
Remember
mic
when we were looking on Wikipedia and it said that CMG machine or some kind of program machine?
Yeah.
That was the drums. He didn't play a note on that album.
That's bizarre.
Wow.
No.
So, but that's the same electronic sound. So
Yeah,
I don't know. Would
processed.
Would
Would
Bonham
Bonham
be doing it?
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that it just seems to me that Zeppelin was more of a traditional band. You know what I mean? Even like
traditional to the blues, traditional to the instrument.
right.
Well, it doesn't
Such
surprise
a
me.
powerful like he like I'm not a musician. You guys are, but it just
Well,
seemed to.
well, I'm not.
I'm a drummer. Be careful.
But it,
He's like a kicker on a football team.
Right.
punter. But when you think
Water
about
boy.
when you think about Bonham, it always seemed as an outside looking in that he was just such a ferocious, aggressive drummer, strong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could never imagine him like trying to use technology
Nah.
you know what I mean? I mean, this is a band that went and recorded in that what's that
Castle?
building?
Castle.
And they put the drums in the
Stairwell.
in the stairwell to get that boom sound. You know what I
levee
mean?
breaks.
Yeah.
Levee breaks.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't surprise me with Alex because he was so creative with the building of his drum sets. Remember, every drum set he had, every tour was something ridiculous. And so I can see him wanting to always reach for something new. So I think he did it with like, the physical drum set as far as, but then I think he wanted to start doing it with technology just to keep ahead of everybody. You know what I mean?
And it could have been that Eddie was kind of experimenting going that way too with the electronic.
Yeah. And Eddie's guitar
keys
sound was certainly losing its crunch.
His brown sound was.
It was getting
away.
really brown. It was not.
Shitty.
Yeah, it just didn't have that crunchy.
Yeah.
Atomic punk
Yeah.
guitar tone.
Yeah.
You know.
So I just wanted to bring that up about the Twitter thing. That was interesting. That group. It was fun chat. If Greg does another one, I'm definitely going to tune in. It was good.
But the only other thing I have, did anybody see Motley Crue? I guess did the NFL draft.
Yeah.
I didn't see it, but I heard it.
I did see a piece I watched today. They did it Friday night. And, I hate to say it. And I know we talked about it in the last couple podcasts. I think they are all playing and singing. Like,
Well, if it was horrendous.
well, yeah, look, I'm not saying it was great.
Yeah.
But, like, John's tone is definitely different than Mick's. You can hear the difference. Just, you know how we always talk about fingers having their own sound?
Yeah.
You can tell it's different. He looks goofy as fuck walking around the stage with that guitar up around his... Oh, that's the other thing about big stages now. With these bands from the 80s. They're all so old. They walk to the other side of the stage.
It takes 4 songs to get to the other side.
Yeah, it takes a whole song for them to get to the other side. And it's like, back in the day, they would use it as a tool. You
Well,
know, now it's like, oh shit, I guess Nicky's over here. I got to walk to the other side.
Yeah. Well, then what? Mick, he never left his spot.
No, I would rather have that.
Just stay there.
Just stay there.
Yeah.
I would rather have that coolness. But it sounded like Vince, I think, sounded live. I listened to Home Sweet Home and something else. And it seemed like they were really playing. Background vocals, obviously, cute, you know,
They're
piped
cute,
in.
Piped in.
But,
And Tommy always played. Because he can. There's no reason why Tommy wouldn't play.
Right.
He can still play. You know.
So
Vince is the only one I would think would be faking it, but I don't think he faked it on that stadium tour because you could hear they weren't great vocals.
yeah, but there was some great footage of him singing.
I think it was
Him
help. But
holding
I think
the
he was
mic
on
up,
it.
and you can hear his vocal track going. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't bad. Kind of moved on from it.
And one other thing I had was I was on YouTube and I think I was looking at something Metallica, like the new album or something. I go, what did that Black album do for sales? So I went into Wikipedia, I pulled up the Black album. 16 times platinum.
Wow.
So it did pretty good.
So then I started looking at the rest of them. And I said, well, let me look at like Ride the Lightning and Kill 'Em All. Kill 'Em All, 6 times platinum.
Yeah.
Later. I think these
Yeah,
are later
yeah.
they're building.
But since the Black Album, every album they've released has
Platinum.
gone number one. But this last one is kept out. It's number 2 because of a country artist. And I don't know who the country artist is.
Yeah.
So it's the only one that hasn't gone there.
But it'll go platinum.
But yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, I don't know now what the digital.
Well, it counts somehow. They have an equation. But well, I sent you guys that Metallica video. Have you watched?
Which one?
So they started their tour, and they started it like, I don't know, maybe it was Wednesday, and so Wednesday night they started in Amsterdam. Wednesday night, YouTube's full of Metallica concert.
Right.
And they've got this weird setup. They've got a round stage, not a circle stage, like a full circle. They've got like an outline, an outline circle. In the middle, they've got a pit of people, and then just a circle like a ramps. This guy was filming it, and he's doing the intro, and I'm like, where the fuck is the stage? Where are the speakers? There's none.
What?
It's a circle, and they've got these 4 things that go up from the ground that are the speakers in 4 points of the concert venue. It's very bizarre, and I was like,
where's like a Lars?
he's just on this oval,
The oval.
and it's like,
I don't know if I like that.
I don't like it. Like, I like the idea of a band coming out and saying, "This is us," and it's coming right at you.
Yeah,
And
I don't
it's-
like
and it's-
in the round.
And
I
it's
never
the whole
liked that.
thing. Because now, like, James is over singing on a mic, and he's only singing to a quarter of the fucking...
Right.
rap.
Then
It's-
if you're on that side, you decide I'm going to go sing.
Yeah.
You got no James for
No.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
But
yeah.
you know why? They fill more seats, I think. I think you get more availability
Metallica's
for
not gonna
seating.
have a problem with filling seats.
No. Well, money. They make more money this way.
Yeah.
But
I always
I
like
don't
just
like
seeing
it.
a bunch of Marshall stacks and a
Yeah,
drummer
there's
in the
none.
middle.
There's no amps
Yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah, I don't like that. That's why I hated the 5150 tour. There were no amps on the stage.
Yeah.
They came off 84, which was stacks of
Probably the best stage setup I've seen.
that and Fair Warning.
Yeah.
But then they come out with it in the 5150 and there's nothing.
Well, so Wolfie opened up the Metallica, and he's on the stage, and I'm like, what a weird thing. And I tweeted back to Greg, I'm like, what an odd stage. Like, I would feel...
I think it's odd for
Bizarre.
that style band that
Right.
doesn't care about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. Dennis, what else you got?
The only thing I got, was that punk super group. So if there's
I don't know what that is.
punk rockers listening in, it's combination of what's called Generation Sex, and it's a combination of Sex Pistols and Generation X. And
it's both.
it's I listened to a little bit of the live stuff that they're supporting Iggy Pop, Billy Idol's the lead
Idol's
singer. and they sound good. They
Really?
sound heavy. Yeah, it's so it'll be interesting that if these guys end up, writing material, or whatnot.
Well, Steve
Jones is in it. Tony James
Paul
and this
Cook.
guy Paul Cook. They're older guys, but they sound really good. Of course, Billy Idol. I mean, we've seen Billy Idol. I mean, he's in great shape, and
He was great live. You and I went to that, right?
that was a wild.
Tichy on drums.
For Billy Idol?
Yeah. Of course, Steve Stevens and
why?
But
Stevens is great.
yeah. So I don't know. Maybe that's something that comes out and they write new music, or
So they're just out touring
they're touring. They're supporting Iggy Pop.
and just playing like a plethora of tunes
Yep.
from all over?
Yeah, with a harder edge to them.
That'll be successful.
So it's more of a modern sound.
Yeah.
I thought they sounded great for a bunch of old dudes.
Yep.
What's Iggy Pop playing these days? Is he in like theaters or?
Yeah. I don't think he. Yeah. That's about right.
Huh.
He has some. I don't really follow him or listen to him, but he's got some new material out as well. But I thought these guys. I think they're just going out there having fun, and they sound great.
Nice.
So, I don't know.
All right, I got something else, but you know how Nicky? I'm back to Motley Crue. Can't get out of. You know how Nicky writes all the tunes?
Mm-hmm.
He's like the main songwriter.
Correct. Yep.
I have never seen him play a guitar. Have you?
I seen him on a Motley Crue, home video where they're interviewing him. He's got an acoustic, like an ovation. He's
But, like,
just,
I've
he's
never-
not really playing it.
Like I've never heard him play a riff or whatever. Like,
But he's got all he can do to play the bass.
yeah,
Don't add,
yeah. So, but how does
two
he
more
write?
strings.
So, did he just write the structure of the songs and perhaps
He
maybe a
doesn't play
riff or
piano,
two,
right?
and then Mick wrote some of the riffs? I'm very curious about that. I've never seen him play a guitar.
I know he writes the lyrics.
He writes the music too.
Yeah, I didn't know if Mick wrote, because you would think Mick would come in with the riff. That's writing the song, right? If he comes in with
I don't think he
Dr.
did.
Feelgood riff.
Yeah, but I think that was like Nicky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know,
Anyways,
maybe.
all right, moving on. So, speaking of guitars, Eddie's Hot Faticha guitar that he
Just
used
sold.
in the video just sold for just shy of $4 million
Oh.
for Sotheby's. Kurt Cobain's guitar, it says it's Blue Mustang. I don't know what that is the number one grossing album guitar for 45.
over 80.
4,500,000. And then David Gilmour's is number two for 3,975,000. Eddie's was like 3.7 or something. So
That's
it's just
crazy.
nuts.
Imagine having that kind of disposable money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think,
Yeah, let's do
imagining that today.
A little limbo over here. So that's kind of, I think, let's see. That's all I had. Other than, they do these vinyl days now
Yeah.
where I think it's vinyl store days or something where they release a vinyl. I don't know if it's once a month or I don't even know. But Van Halen's latest Right Here, Right Now remastered just came out on vinyl.
Yeah, I saw Sammy had a video of him getting it in the mail and opening it up and everything.
Take a guess how much?
Well, $12.50. That's what I paid for it.
About $30.
Take another guess.
$300.
$125.
Come on.
This one guy said he found it for $100.
You talking like new reissue or an
Reissue.
Yeah, but it's
Well, it's
not
because the pain in the ass of making one. There's no who has the technology still kicking around to make an
100
album.
Oh, they all do.
$100.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
That's too much money.
But we're not talking about new material here, right?
No.
You're just talking about remaster.
A remastered LP. But speaking of LPs, I may have mentioned this in the last podcast. Metallica bought their own record album producing plant a couple months ago.
Wow.
The vinyl plant for
I
production.
think vinyl's going to have a resurgence.
The
Because it's
talk
getting-
is
Oh, it has.
CDs.
Yeah, it
They're
has.
talking about CDs coming.
I'm hoping CDs are way better quality.
Yep.
and you don't have to flip the fucking record. You don't have to clean the needle. You don't have to. My buddy has albums, and collects them, and he's like, "Hey, if you're looking for something to waste your fucking money on, get a turntable and start buying records."
You're so right, though, Derek. When hopefully y'all kept your CDs, right? Like when I was talking to our buddy Rick, and he's like, "I just got rid of mine." I'm like, I still got mine. I got stacks of them. And the thing is, Derek, to your point, the first CD I ever bought, and I listened to it the other day, clear as day.
Oh yeah,
I just bought it. I mean,
so I take care of them.
Yeah,
I recently grabbed one off they're in my storage room, and I grabbed one. I think it was a Tesla. And I put it in my truck because my truck has a CD player, nice JBL system. I've never played anything in there, so I put it in. Holy, it sounds awesome. Yeah, sounds way better than me downloading a full res version on Spotify. Yeah. And so I'm kind of toying with the idea of actually getting a CD player and a receiver and going back to that. Maybe even put it out here or something. Yeah. Just sounds so nice.
I still got my cassettes.
Yeah.
I got a ton of them.
I think 8-Track's coming back.
Yeah, but who wouldn't want to have like an original Led Zeppelin, 2 8-track in their possession?
Yeah. The only cassette I have is it's got those tunes, Blowing Smoke, One Foot on the Edge.
You know what? The quality on that doesn't sound bad for what it was.
Yeah. No, it was done well.
I got one of those cassettes,
We're talking about, for those that don't know, the intro song on our podcast is a tune from Mark and I's band, and then the outro is the magnificent Mike Hilliker ripping on the way out on another song, not the same song that intros, but yeah, I still have one.
I got it's some. I'll check. I think it's behind in my
bar. The quality isn't. It would have been a lot better if I don't think we had. Like, why didn't we have those made on CD?
Was there CD then? Oh, probably cheaper. Probably too much money.
There must have been CDs out, right?
Yeah. Too much money.
No, probably cost more.
Yeah. All right. Anything else? Should we get this review started?
I got tennis to watch.
I've got a Bruins game to watch. For those who don't know, this is Game 7 night for the Bruins, who have been freaking choking.
Should have never gone at.
No.
They're wearing themselves out. They still got 2 more series to play, right?
I was in Boston Saturday with my son looking at a college, and I told him, I go, "Hey, look around. You see the city here? If they lose Sunday night, it's going to be burnt down." The place is going to go
Might be the last time you see it.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah, the thing is, though, even if they win, they do that.
Well, I would rather they win and do it than... Yeah. I mean, they lose, I'm gonna be pissed. All right, what album you want to start with? We've got 3. I think we listed them on the last.
I got Krokus, Headhunter. Oh, that's first, but go either way.
Dennis, you have a...
what?
I start with Krokus.
Krokus? Or
I don't care.
You want to get rolling with... All right, fine.
Whatever you got. What do you got up top?
What do you got?
I got Krokus.
All right, let's start with Krokus.
Start with Krokus.
Formed in 1974, which I had no idea.
They've been around the block.
This is their 7th studio album. Oh, Krokus Headhunter is the album we're reviewing. 7th studio album. And I'll say I never really listened to Krokus. I don't have one of their CDs, I'll say that. But in listening to this, I thought heavy flavors of AC/DC.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Their earlier albums are even
they?
more prominent. Like, you'd think you were listening to AC/DC.
So
It's so ridiculous.
What's interesting with this is they started, just a little background, if I may, 1976.
Well, I just had that they formed in 74.
74, but the first album, 76.
I think we got a fight going on.
Oh, the first album?
76.
Let me check it out. Studio
albums. It could be.
Yeah, 76. So they got together in 74, and then they released an album in 74.
I did read that the singer left before the first album was recorded.
Oh,
And the guitar player stepped up and did the vocals. Guess what his name is?
Fernando.
Tom Kiefer.
What? What are you talking about? Really?
Yeah,
On the first album?
that's what I thought. I read. I was like, wait a second. Is this Cinderella?
Oh, yeah, Tommy Kiefer.
He stepped up and did the vocals, and he's the guitar player on the first album. And then for the second album, the drummer said, I'll sing. He came out from behind the kit and did the next album.
Yeah, because I got it here on this first album. Chris Von Rohr, who's a drummer,
Yeah.
did lead vocals on some of these songs.
Wow. And then the second album, he did.
He's the only guy left out of that. This lineup.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'm sorry, Dennis.
No. So Storace. So you're right. These guys have been around a long time.
Yeah.
I googled Storace, the lead singer, Mark. He's 71 years old.
Yeah, they're
So
they've
he's
been
got
around.
So during this tour, they opened for Def Leppard
On
Headhunter.
on Headhunter.
Oh, no way.
Yep. A little factoid there.
So on Pyromania,
Yeah.
that's a great tour to be on.
Well,
Yeah.
when did Sammy Hagar VOA come out?
84. It was like the same time Van Halen 84.
Because I went to that concert. Did you and I go to that Hagar
Oh,
VOA
maybe.
at the
Yeah.
Central?
Yeah.
And Krokus was supposed to open up, so I'm
Right.
thinking 84. There's probably Headhunter, right?
Yep.
Still,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and it canceled
So the
the
class.
last minute. So Hagar goes, you know what?
They had no opening back?
Some local band came in, so he ended up playing an extra hour.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool. But I wanted to see Krokus. I mean, this is back
Well,
in the day.
so the interesting thing about I remember buying this. You know what I mean? And this was kind of a transitional, as we discussed, a transitional release from the hard sound, the AC/DC, to a more heavier sound. And there was no more evidence that was more compelling than the producer, Tom Allen, who, if you look and you research his background, he was the Judas Priest producer.
No way.
Yeah, so they hired the Judas Priest producer to end up to building a more heavier sound for this band. And, the Billboard number 25, so moderate success, and it did sell enough to go gold.
But we talk about these transitional albums where bands go a few years with a specific style, and then something changes. They get a new producer, and then like this, or Priest, Scream for Vengeance. That was a departure from what they were releasing prior. This one's interesting because Headhunter was Krokus's transitional period.
Right.
And yeah, I'm with Gold, but Metal Rendezvous, 1980, 4 times platinum.
Whoa.
And that's still their old style,
Yep.
DC, gritty, hard rock blues Krokus.
Huh.
I don't know. I had this album, and
It's important to note
there's not a hit on it.
They're from Switzerland.
Yeah,
right?
they had that one Screaming in the Night.
Yeah.
No, off Metal Rendezvous.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's nothing. This thing's 4 times
I wonder
platinum.
why.
I actually had this album. I brought it back to the record store and bought Doc and Breaking the Chains. Was that
Yeah,
that
that
album?
was their
Or
first
was
album.
it Tooth and Nail?
Tooth and Nail was
No,
second.
it was before that.
Okay.
It had Juan Cusier from Rat was the bass player.
Oh, okay.
That was before
Really?
Jeff Pilson came in.
Huh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So this
Because I wasn't expecting, I already heard Headhunter. So I went and said, let me go buy some older Krokus. And I'm like, sounds like AC/DC. I wanted kind of what I was hearing on that Headhunter album.
Right.
I already have AC/DC stuff. I already have that band,
no much fuller sound on this release, and
Better
I think-
production.
I think the producer had a lot to do with that. But I think again, you talk about like the success they had earlier, and now this is generating maybe a little interest in Alum as far as getting involved with these guys. but Swiss band, okay? And it's important to note that because here we go again with a European band, right?
Yeah.
That struggles with writing lyrics, right? So you're gonna see some song titles here where you're like,
Oh yeah.
what in the hell does that mean, right? But the music though is strong. It's good. Well, we'll get into it in some cases, but they if you like Google Switzerland or bands out of Krokus is like still today 2023 one of the top selling rock bands that come out of that country.
Well, it's like Germany. It's I'm sure
Scorps.
except
Oh,
it's still popular over there.
So
They don't do great here, but I bet they do better in their home in Germany, right?
yeah, right. Yeah, and I think so. Funny story here with Krokus. Before we move on, so Dee Snider wife was a stage apparel or stage dress designer, stage clothes and stuff. She did that as a profession, and Krokus hired her around this time to do some work for them when they toured the United States.
Huh.
But apparently they didn't. I don't know. The story goes, you'll have to look this up. It's kind of funny. They didn't pay her. They basically screwed her. And Snyder wanted to kick their ass.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, Dee Snider's like, if I ever see, he still hates her.
I was going to say, we should tweet him and see.
That wound never healed.
He's still, oh yeah, he wanted to kick their ass.
Yeah.
He goes, I guess they never paid them, and they were, they just ignored the bills or
Oh,
whatever.
my God. That's awesome.
But
Wow.
anyways.
It says right here, after seeing AC/DC in concert in the late 70s, they decided to change their musical direction. It's like, obviously.
Yeah.
Those early albums. Have you heard the
No.
That,
So that's my thing with Krokus. Like, you guys are way more, I don't know,
older?
open, older, experienced. Krokus was never introduced to them, never came up in my,
Well, I think also what helped this album, which we talked about in the last podcast, the rise of MTV was helped, because this was right around the time, Motley Crue's Books a Kill, Quiet Riot, Mental Health,
Right.
MTV's cut, so that kind of pushed Krokus, I think, success a little. They were
Right.
at the right time with this album, when that was all happening.
All right. Well, let's get in.
All right.
The album, Headhunter. First song, Headhunter.
This is all Storace. Obviously, he's very prominent with his screaming. This definitely sounds a lot like Priest, I thought. The heavier sound. It's fast.
But earlier
There's
Priest.
Right, but there's a nice open... the solos, the dual guitars, they got two guitar players playing off each other. Definitely sets the stage for what the listener's about to hear. You know what I mean?
The drums, when they started that song, I thought it was Red Hot. That's what it reminded me.
Yeah,
I was like, whoa.
I mean that was pretty popular.
Yeah.
Style,
Yeah.
back then to come in with that. Obviously, great live opener, right?
Yep.
And the name of it's Headhunter. You can see them coming out of the gate on that tour with this song. Sets the stage.
Yep.
Good drum intro. I like it. I think it's a great way to kick off an album.
Yep.
Balls to the wall.
So 1 out of 10, what would you rate that song? Would you say, like based on?
Oh man, 8.5.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's about.
I mean,
I'm just trying
I think
to
the
get
only
a
thing I
sense
could have an issue with was the I don't know, maybe the production of the the sound quality wasn't the mix. Maybe the drums didn't sound like
right.
they could have been produced better, but As a song, I don't know. I give it a strong 8.5.
One of the things that that I noticed in this album is, and I don't mind Storace, but I just feel as we start to examine these songs that, I wrote down, I wish, like if they had to remaster this album or re-engineer it or re-record it, that they kind of control his vocals a little bit. Because I think the band is really, the sound is strong and the musicianship is really good. But I think sometimes Storace's voice just gets, it's like too much.
That's a good point.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Are you kind of, alluding to the Quiet Riot, Kevin DeBrow?
Yeah.
Kind of like overshadowing the music.
Right. It's
with over-the-top screams and...
Yeah, his voice is fine. I mean, he's identified, this is the way he sings. But I just think there's parts in this album that we're gonna examine.
He could pull it back.
Yeah, where you're like, just relax on the screaming and stuff.
Yeah.
You got two great guitar players that, they're not great guitar players, but they're good and they're doing a fine job, and the songwriting is okay.
Well, but it could be the fact he's coming in, an era of lead singers. Right?
Yeah.
Wasn't the 80s about lead singers mostly?
And you got Alum, who's the producer, who works with Rob Halford, which is known for all that screaming.
Right,
and
so
so
to him,
forth.
it's normal. It's normal.
Or he wants that out of Storace, but he's not getting Halford out of Storace. But anyway, so
your producer can make or break it, right?
Yep.
He's the outside ear, because the band itself isn't going to critique themselves. You need the producer to be that outside ear to say, hey, guys, this isn't working. Mark, tone down the vocal screams.
Right.
If the guy's off the leash, there's no one controlling it, it's going to get on tape, right?
Yep. All right, next one, Eat the Rich.
To me, this is a classic. I mean, this is why I bought the album back in that. When I heard this song, I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. It was an anthem at the time. We could argue where it sits now, but back in those days, this was like...
And it was original sounding.
Oh, God, it was a riff. It was huge back then.
I like Storace's vocals on that.
Yes, yep. The dual guitars. I mean...
Chorus is great.
Yeah.
And the guitar bass, I think it's a guitar bass breakdown before they go into the solo.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. And it was different. It was kind of unique song, the way they kind of put it together. So yeah, I like that. I like this song.
Once again, you sit there scratching your head going, what the hell these lyrics mean?
Yeah, who knows? But did we care when we listened back
then?
We didn't know what half the songs I was listening to meant.
No, it's fun. Yeah, one of the albums we get into later, one of the lyrics, I was just like, well, there it is again. I think I've heard that phrase in about 30 different...
Cliche.
Yeah. I'll probably bring it up. All right, next one, Screaming in the Night.
So
classic.
This was a single, actually.
Mm-hmm.
It's the single,
slow blues tempo. I love it. I really like that guitar open. I thought Storace sounded great in this example.
Catchy chorus.
Yep.
Very well put together.
That repetitive chorus. It just gets... You're singing it when you leave the show, or you hear on the radio, you're still humming it in your head,
Yep.
Got that going.
Well, like I mentioned at the beginning, I wasn't aware of Krokus. But when I was listening to this, I was like...
You heard that.
Oh, yeah. I know this tune.
Right.
Yeah,
good song.
6 minutes, 38 seconds.
What? Long song, but
6 minutes,
I think
38 seconds.
That type of song, it works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Ready to Burn.
So, here's a fast one, right? Interesting note here. Rob Halford is providing the backing vocals.
Nice.
So, when you hear that...
Ready to Burn.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he's fast-paced, the chorus. Not bad, cool solos, I thought. Here's an example where Storace's doing a lot of screaming and so forth in this song, which I think, nowadays, 2023, if you're if you're engineering this song, you're probably toning that down a little bit. You know what I mean?
Kind of interesting that they would bring in a guy like Halford with the competition back in those days with singers, and like David Lee Roth ain't gonna let no singer come in and sing background. You know, he's like, it's surprised that Srirachi wouldn't be intimidated by bringing in a guy with the clout of Rob Halford.
Well, I think, so I don't think he was probably, he may have been intimidated, but was like, all right, let's bring in this amazing singer.
And he's background, I guess. He's
not like level, like...
Not letting him sing a song.
Like, Bret Michaels wouldn't sing on a Motley, record. Right. Like, Vince would be like, no freaking way, that type of thing.
Then you listen to Dr. Feelgood. How many background singers helped on that album?
Oh, yeah.
Ton of guys.
The other thing to keep in mind is, here's Krokus going, how can we be successful in America? You know what I mean? We're going to get a high-profile producer who's going to bring his associates or his resources, and they probably I'm not sure that maybe Srirachi looked at Halford as competition. I think it was like, here's a legend, how can he help us be successful in America?
Well, and he's not letting
we've
Halford
done 6
sing
albums
a
and
song on his
we
own.
haven't broke America yet.
Yeah.
Right.
It'd be one thing if he said, "Hey, Rob, you want to sing this song?" and the song becomes a hit, and then he's like, "Oh, Jesus, maybe I shouldn't have done."
He comes in one morning and Rob's vocal track is being mixed.
Right. I mean, he's background. How many people knew? I never knew.
Yeah. Well, we have a crack staff here of Dennis digging in the dirt,
digging deep,
getting the info. All right, what are we on? Nightwolf.
Yeah. So side 2, right? Mm-hmm. CD album, speed metal. Another, I think, Judas Priest rip.
I mean, Warren Arber's got some good guitar playing on this album.
Right.
I mean, he's not virtuoso. He's not Randy Rhoads, but he's good.
Now, as a drummer, one thing I asked this question to you, Mark, because it just seemed like the drummer was having a hard time catching up. And I know it's supposed to be, hitting the pocket, but I mean, these guys are like, vroom, flying.
Was he playing behind the...
It just didn't seem like that, like he was
on it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I picked up on it.
Yeah, listen to it, yeah. And, again, European lyric, trying to English, what the hell's a night wolf? They're all night.
Well, that's
They're
what
nocturnal.
That's what I got here.
You'll see wolves during the day unless they have...
cheesy chorus lyrics, right? And doesn't the song kick off with, "Ow!" You know what I mean? It's like, come on. But, this is the 80s. This is
why when you go to these concerts back then, it's like... How do we say sausage? I mean, there's no women. There's no women because I heard one time that, and I don't know if this is true, but in some cases, like women are more drawn to the lyrics and what the lyrics mean versus dudes that are more like into the heaviness of the music. So I'm thinking, like, my wife would probably be going, okay, all right, what are we going to hear at this concert? Headhunter. Then we're going to go into Eat the Rich.
Yeah.
And then maybe we'll get a little Nightwolf.
Yeah. You might get that metal goth chick showing up there. But,
oh, yeah.
You're not getting the average, girls showing up there.
No. There's no dancing at a Krokus show.
Or except.
Yeah. So it's like
all the girls waiting for the singer, except the Uno comes out with the freaking army fatigues on and boots, scuzzy white hair,
speaking German.
Where am I? Freaking Auschwitz?
You think these guys would, like, Alan be like, okay, let's do it an English class first, right? Or give you, and just like work on the lyrics and stuff so that we can, do a video or, MTV.
Yeah, the lyrics on this song were about as cheesy as you can get.
Right.
What about you, Derek? What do you think on that?
I'm in the same boat.
I mean, I could even be a band name for that in that era.
Yeah.
Nightwolf.
On the next album, I think didn't they have a single Daybird or something?
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, Daybird.
Anyways, Stayed Awake All Night.
Yeah, so this was a single. I noticed. This is a BTO cover.
Yes.
Bachman Turner Overdrive.
I never
cover.
knew that.
Fun song, I thought. Good riff. I wrote down. I don't know why. I wrote down again. Too much Storace though.
Yeah. It's my favorite song in the album.
Yeah.
No.
I think it's my favorite song in this album.
Stayed awake all night. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was a strong song. Yeah, it had BTO cover, which I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't either
until I started researching the album here. But I think I like that song. Derek, what do you think?
Same old.
Yeah.
All right, next song, Stand and Be Counted.
So I thought this was definitely an AC/DC romp. Kind of had the little Highway to Hell when you listen to it. Not bad. Again, strong guitars, the dual guitars.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I get here. Von Arp solid as usual. Not the strongest stuff on the album.
No.
Okay.
The DC stuff, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Almost like a track that was written maybe for previous albums.
Yeah, almost like they haven't shedded all of that stuff yet.
Next one, White Din.
Yeah, so this was just a minute and a half.
Yeah.
It was instrumental.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Kind
interesting piece.
Yeah. Yep.
Different.
Yep. The band kind of flexing their muscles a little bit with the guitar playing and so forth.
Had that kind of movie soundtrack feel. You know?
Yep. Russian Winter, next, final.
Well, I got on that. Looks like Storace got his own horse and he's heading to the castle. It's got that same, I don't know what you call it, the rhythm, the gallop,
the charge.
Yeah.
I think I bring it up on another album we reviewed.
Yeah, so
I thought it was
okay.
Yeah, I go not their strongest song on the album by any stretch. Storace screaming I thought was kind of ridiculous on this one.
Yeah, a little too much. But as you can tell, I think, like we said, that galloping charge style was very prominent.
You're right.
Oh, yeah.
Sign of the times. Yep.
All right. Say what you will. Does it hold up?
I say yes. For me, I think there's enough solid songs on this. I can throw this in my car, and there's enough material on it that I can still listen to without feeling dated. I mean, it's obviously dated. It's 80s, but I don't know. I think it's one of their stronger albums. I think it stands up.
I'd agree. It is their strong, in my opinion, their strongest album.
Yeah.
Yep. I think so.
In the songs I got through, I would say stand up.
They're pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a good album.
Yep. All right, cool. Moving right along.
Yep.
With the rain hitting the roof. Holy smokes. Next one?
What
Anyone?
do you got on there, Dan?
Kiss.
All right.
Kiss.
Kiss.
Kiss it is.
Kiss, Lick It Up. So, Dennis, before you joined the podcast, on the second podcast, I Taste Metal, Mark and I listened and reviewed Creatures of the Night.
Oh.
Yeah.
And we were both, I think we thought it was well received. Like we
I was
we were shocked.
Surprisingly surprised at how good it was.
Yep. Yeah. So go back and listen to that one. The podcast. It was good. I felt this album was a little heavier than Creatures, and then I got reading that Stanley said that Creatures is arguably a way better album than Lick It Up.
Stanley said that?
Yep. He said the only reason people bought Lick It Up more than Creatures was because we had no makeup on. But, I thought it was heavier than No.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's heavier than. No, I didn't say that. Yeah, he said Creatures was better than this album, and I agree. So anyway, sorry. And this was the first album Vinnie Vincent was credited and on the cover, where in Creatures he wasn't.
It was still Ace, even though Ace was out.
Yep.
You know, it's, I don't know. I mean, I have mixed feelings on this. You know, this band, you know, I think, you know, I watched that. I actually watched the Lick It Up video, and it's like, you know, I don't know. It's like I kind of get why that grunge movement hated us. You know what I mean? Like, you know, this is why. It wasn't because of Aerosmith and Van Halen or even Led Zeppelin. It was, you know, and this is the music that was like right before the Sunset Strip and all that craziness happened. But, you know, there's a lot of dysfunctionality happening here too, because I think before, in the making of this album, I read that Vinnie Vincent was being a big pain in the ass.
Oh, really?
And I think if we know anything about Vinnie Vincent, the guy's a weirdo.
Yeah.
Right? I'm being nice about that, you know. And they were having real problems with Vinnie Vincent in the recording and stuff like that. And, you know...
well, he wanted a cut of the profits of this album, and they didn't want it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to...
Well,
he was hired.
He was more of a hired hand, right?
Right, but his argument is Vincent wanted recognition for reviving the band. That was his argument. He felt like that, you know, Kiss was kind of dead, and because of his guitar playing, you know, but he was driving the band nuts. I read with the concerts, you know, he's like doing 8-minute solos, you know what I mean? And the band is getting, you know, was getting upset with him, and you know, he's just a weirdo. Yeah. And now you just anybody just Google Vinnie Vincent 2023 and you know,
weirdo
picture
up.
No words.
Yeah, but the thing is, they could have pulled any axe slinger from the 80s in as a guitar player, and any one of them would have revived Kiss.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you're talking about Ace Frehley, who was at this point in the band a drunk, right? He was pulling his band down.
Mm-hmm.
So he had to go, obviously, because he had, you know, alcohol, drug problems. So any guy, I mean, George Lynch could have came in and done the same thing.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So is it really Vinnie Vincent, or is it just a fact that they got rid of Ace and got a fresh body in there?
And there was, at this time, there was a lot of animosity because this whole being unmasked was really... The band was nervous about this and how people would react to this new image, you know?
Well, don't you think that most of their success was based off of their image and their stage show and not the quality of their music?
Yeah.
That was pretty much the saving grace of that band was, all right, the songs aren't great, these albums are okay, but what a spectacle it is to go watch, right?
Yep.
If they had
You're gonna
that
get some sort of
albums
show
back in the day without that, would they even been around? How long would they even been around?
It's just so hard because it's like, you know, Kiss is such a legendary band, and we all have friends I have friends that are big fans of Kiss and stuff, but I don't know, I was just, and nothing against, you know, those people that love Kiss or whatever. I mean, I was just never a huge fan of Kiss.
Oh,
I mean, I'm just going to say that right now before we dig into this.
We were shocked when we listened to Creatures. Neither of us were fans of...
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you, when I was 10 years old, I was a fan because it was the visual. I opened up Kiss Alive and just saw, and there's nothing was like that.
Yeah.
So I was into me for the wrong reasons, right?
Yeah, but there was good music back.
Some of the stuff
Detroit
was good.
Rock City. I mean,
Black Diamond, Cold Gin.
But that was in the 70s, so you could argue like this band was done in the early 80s, and they're still playing now. You know, like when you think about, and we're gonna get, you know, I know we'll get into the music here specifically, but I wrote down in my notes. I said, you know, overall with Kiss, you know, has anyone stolen a Kiss riff? Like, you know what I mean?
Not on
I've
purpose.
never heard of that. I've never heard of a band like
Whoa,
Kiss
whoa, whoa.
being in the news. Say, hey, we wrote that
wait
song.
a second.
Yeah, right.
Stop playing that. That's Kiss. It's awful.
Well, this band isn't, prolific. Okay, this band is not Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd. You know what I mean? Queensryche. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I made the comment earlier about it doesn't sound like these songs have been worked, and someone just hit record and went. I was referring to this album. Like that's what it feels like.
It's
the song is not. It's not worked. Like they're not working the song.
Well, do we blame this on Michael James Jackson, who's the producer? Who's that?
Who?
I don't know. He was a guy that did Creatures and he did this album, and he was given a lot of credit for it. But who's really producing this? This is still Simmons and maybe Paul Stanley, right?
Yep.
Right. But I mean, how important was Ace when you think about it? Like you called him, he had drinking problem and all that. But I mean, he co-wrote a lot of that '70s stuff.
Yeah.
So he's not part of the writing process here. And I don't know. Maybe they're missing something.
It'd be interesting to know how many songs from this album that they still play live.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Well, that's the thing, Derek. If this stuff, all the post-makeup albums were so great, if they were on tour right now, they wouldn't have the makeup on again.
They are on tour.
Yeah. With the makeup.
With the makeup.
But they're 70. I mean, they look...
They're 70. But they know they can't go out on tour now without that spectacle.
No.
Just go out and play on stage with no makeup on. You know what I mean? Because the songs don't hold any weight.
It was funny. There's a story about Eric Carr, who's, great drummer, right? Yeah, or he was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
solid.
Great. Yeah. Well, he designed his own makeup, and he wanted to be called like the Hawk. And he had this makeup he designed. He would try to look like a hawk, right? And then Paul Stanley goes, "You ain't going out there looking like that. You look like Big Bird." People are gonna laugh at you.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, I think the thing is now it doesn't matter who joins this band. They're putting on the Ace makeup or the Peter Criss makeup.
What's funny is they were on Stern. I don't know, maybe a couple months ago. And Howard's doing about an hour interview with them. I'm like, wow, this is insightful. It's pretty good. He's asking not a lot of music stuff, more about their childhood. So I go and look at it online. They're all in their makeup talking for an hour with the microphone in their hand.
Trying to be serious.
They got their outfit on it's so
really
funny. Oh, so funny.
They're just become complete parodies of themselves at this point.
It'd be funny if Howard was wearing makeup.
Yeah, you give up
everybody else.
So here's a set list of December last year.
Cool.
Rip It Out, Parasite, Strutter, Rocket Ride.
Rip It Out. That's solo Ace, right?
No, I don't think so.
Can't be. I don't think anything's from this album. I'll keep it open to check, but
You mean fits like a glove in?
Well, I don't think they're playing any post-makeup songs when they play.
Probably
live.
not.
I think everything's the makeup era.
You know what, Mark?
70s is basically.
You know what? I'm never gonna find out.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Okay.
So, Kiss, Lick It Up. First song, Exciter.
So I thought this was written by Paul Stanley, about 4 minutes long. Iron Maiden Priest rumbling riff. Really kind of, I mean, the song was all right, okay, but I liked the solo. But then I'm like, wow, that solo doesn't sound that bad. And then I found out it was
Rick Derringer.
It was right. It's not Vinnie Vincent.
Yeah. Yep.
You're going to find that I'm not a Vinnie Vincent fan. You know what I mean? I mean,
tell me how you feel.
It's like, I think in general, on this album, he's better as a rhythm guitar player, believe it or not, than his solos. And you'll see that his solos are super controlled in this.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really like shorten the length of them, you know.
Yeah.
And if you ever heard the Vinnie Vincent Invasion, I mean, they're all like instrumentals where he's doing like 10-minute solos in the middle of the song.
I never thought of him as a virtuoso.
No.
Of any sort. So I got Exciter. I got looks like Paul Stanley can meet Starachi at the castle.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know?
I have Storm in the Castle.
Storm in the castle again. Oh my god!
Yeah,
they
that's
all
a-
meet together.
That's a phrase of our podcast on
Storm
certain
in the
songs.
castle.
I said the best part of this song was the ending, and not that it ended, but there's a riff at the end that's pretty darn good. And I don't know if it's Derringer, it may be him playing the riff,
Right.
but that was like, to me, I that was the best part.
Yeah.
All right, Not for the Innocent.
So this is Simmons and Vincent wrote this song. Vincent, by the way, wrote like 8 songs here. So he is co-writer. Simmons is singing this, about 4 minutes long. This is a total, and if you didn't hear this, please go back and listen to this. You know, there's a Dawkins ripoff in the opening of this song.
That's what I got here.
This
Sounds
is
like a Dawkins riff.
exactly.
Oh, I gotta go
This
listen.
is George Lynch. This
Total.
is they are ripping off Dawkins. I'm saying it right now. They're ripping off Dawkins.
Yeah, I got
This-
it right here.
I'm taking a note. I'm going
What's that
back to
say?
listen.
Yep. Sounds like Dawkins. The first in the beginning of that.
To the tone, everything.
And here we go again. Like, okay, so I don't really like Gene Simmons' vocals. All right, and I think maybe back in the '70s it was cool with some of those '70s songs and stuff. But I think with this new
It
up
doesn't
tempo,
work.
heavier sound, that the demon scream or whatever that he calls it sucks.
I think
And-
he's on too many. Lead singer on too many songs.
Oh yeah, I mean,
way too many.
Simmons is 1, 2, 3, 4. He's singing
Five or
5 of
six
these songs.
Too many.
And I think the song has a better chance
With
with
Paul
Paul
Stanley.
Stanley. Yeah. Who's it? Yeah.
As much as I hate how they mix Paul's voice and the echo and all that, it drives me nuts. I did write down like, Gene doesn't fit these songs.
No.
It just
And I'm not a big fan of Paul Stanley's voice.
no.
I mean,
No.
I'd rather hear it over Gene Simmons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are we still on? What song are we on?
We're on now number 3. Lick It Up.
Okay. Oh, look it up. The single.
Yep.
All I wrote was "Good Lord," and then
Oh, look it up. I mean, that's the single, right?
it's the single.
Yeah. Paul Stanley, obviously.
I mean, it's a classic Kiss track. mean,
I don't know if
everybody
it-
knows it.
Yeah. Kiss anthem, chorus.
Kiss anthem.
So what's interesting is, and I could be wrong, there's no solo in this song.
Oh, really?
No.
There's no solo. So again, you're starting to see like the band, like Vincent's here, and he's wrote some of these songs, but he's super controlled.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then obviously he's gone after this album. We
Yeah.
all know that.
Yeah, he's got no pull.
Yeah, so there's
he's a puppet.
the video of this was worse. I mean, it just
Oh, yeah.
really showed a band that, you know, like they got like they got garbage cans and there's fire. They're lit on
Walking
fire or
around.
Did
something.
you ever see the
It's like-
MTV reveal where they're all sitting in the MTV studio, like behind it, you know?
No.
And then they
with name tags and
yeah,
stuff.
name tags,
Yeah.
and they keep panning to each guy. Paul Stanley, Eric Carr, and they keep going, and they're all like this, like looking tough and mean, and
Yeah.
they all got they look like they're pissed off. You know?
Yeah.
I'm going. Do people give that much of a fuck
Yeah.
about these guys taking their makeup off?
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'll have
I'm
to look
sitting
that-
like going, put it back on, dude.
Yeah,
First
matter
of all,
of
none
fact-
of you guys are that good looking.
Wear a mask.
yeah.
All right. Young and Wasted.
I put not a bad riff. I just wish Stanley was singing.
Yeah,
You know, not.
much G.
I wrote kind of cool tempo and song,
Decent
but
song.
Gene's voice.
Yeah.
That's a
right
heavy
there.
track. I thought that was kind of one of the
They're-
heaviest.
I wrote here.
Right.
They're definitely trying to be heavier.
Yeah. You know, stupid lyrics, but. You know,
Well, and you
again,
got a
yeah.
title like Young and Wasted, which is completely opposite of what those guys are at this point in their career. Right?
Gene don't drink or do
Gene
drugs.
don't drink, he
so
ain't
he's all
young.
wasted.
Right.
And he ain't young.
All right, give me more.
Please don't.
Paul's singing this, right? Co-written by Vincent and Stanley. Sounds like Priest, and I put, and again, go back and fact check Freewheel Burning. I'm telling you, the riff is like Freewheel Burning in the beginning.
I couldn't think of what song it was. I thought it was Ace of Spades from Motorhead.
Okay,
but it might be Freewheel Burning.
I
knew it was another band. I'm going, this riff has been written.
Freewheel Burning.
Although Freewheel Burning wasn't out yet, was it? Because that's off of
Defenders.
Defenders, which I don't think was...
Defenders was, well, yeah. I think 82. It's close.
Right around the same. 84.
Faster pace.
Yep.
And then I thought I was like, wow, Eric Carr's drumming on this is like, I mean, he's doing a heck of a job.
I thought Stanley was pretty good on
this
track.
Yep. Just the freaking echo, it drives me bananas. I took a note here, though, and said, if we went and saw a band on Lansdowne Street playing this, we'd be like, who the hell are these guys? Like, we wouldn't be that inspired by it.
Oh, hell no.
You know?
Hell no.
All right. Next one, All Hell's Breaking Loose. Another single.
Right. Strong chorus, obviously. This is all Paul Stanley. I mean,
he does some good, like, planty type screams in it.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. Like, it was different. You know, I mean, whether it holds up or not, obviously that's a, that's another discussion. But, I mean, I don't mind the song. I like the guitar tone. I mean, it was just different. And I think, from all these other songs, it's almost kind of like rappy.
Well, the talking verses I wrote. I wasn't a fan of it.
I don't like that.
But the chorus, like you said, was good.
Well, it's got the classic 80s gang vocals, right?
Yeah.
They're all chanting. I like the guitar riff in it. And the guitar riff, I guess, going into pre-chorus was cool in this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just trying.
Okay, too.
All right. 1,000,000 to 1.
Slow metal ballad.
Yeah.
Solo. Another really short solo.
I got his solo sound like Lynch.
Yeah.
Tone-wise.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I wrote I liked the start of the song, and I think it was one of the better arranged songs. Like they worked it for a little bit. It wasn't first take type of thing. Fits Like a Glove. Dennis's favorite.
That's such a Kiss title, huh? That's some of their titles.
Speed.
Well, so this is the one I wrote. Another song from the 80s with the lyric, and I quote, "Baby, won't you let me in?"
Yeah.
I mean, how many?
The basement? I mean, what's he talking about?
Yeah.
The refrigerator?
Yeah, I put throwaway track. I mean,
Yeah. I just wrote it again. It seems like it was
I
thrown
thought
together.
The music would fit on the Krokus Headhunter album.
I mean, who wrote this? Okay, so Simmons
Fits
wrote
Like a
this
Glove.
himself.
Yeah,
He's like the
not a
alpha male
songwriter.
in the group here.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's like, like Paul Stanley can't be, all right, let's put Fits Like a Glove on this album. It's like Simmons is...
Who would ever hire Gene Simmons to write a song for you or bring in as a
Songwriter.
songwriter?
Yeah.
Gene Simmons. Like a hot knife through butter. It's like this guy is horrendous.
Well, wait till you get to the next
Well,
song.
Dance all over your face.
Well, I just want to make a question about who writes the lyrics
He wrote the whole
on
song.
these songs. Like, did Simmons write his own lyrics and Stanley write their own lyrics
Well-
for the songs they're singing on?
Yeah, well, yeah, they would be both be credited because the lyric and music is one. They're separate categories. So Gene wrote the song, and he's the only one credited. He's doing lyric and song. So yeah, Dance All Over Your Face.
It's not a great song.
I don't like this song. Too
I don't
much
either.
more arrogant Gene, huh?
I wrote another.
I mean, this guy loves himself.
No.
Unbelievable. Filler song. You know? Not like most of them on this album are filler songs, but
all right.
This guy's just so arrogant.
Is he even married now? Remember,
Yes.
like his big thing was like he was never married. It's like
He talked about it on Stern.
Does he own a mirror? You know, the problem with this is he's still like this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, listen to the Howard interview. He's totally.
How old's Gene Simmons?
Got to be early 70s, 72.
Gene Simmons is 73.
All right. Yeah, he doesn't look like Joe Perry or Tyler. Or...
But he thinks he's on that level.
Oh yeah,
Guys.
yeah. Is it raining out? Holy smokes! Thought that was our quote, Mark. Is it raining out? And on the 8th day, the last song on the album.
Oh.
Yeah.
On the 8th day, God created rock and roll, Dennis. That's what he did.
I thought the beginning sounded like the Who, like from was it Baba O'Reilly? The way it starts, it's hard. We don't. It's
then
hard
what
to
happened?
Explain. Oh yeah, then it.
I wrote I didn't mind the main riff, but that was it.
Yeah.
They just got stupid corny song.
Yeah.
All I know is on the 9th day, I shot myself in the head.
I mean, there's 10 songs here. 5 of them Simmons is singing.
Yeah.
Way too much.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
The bass player.
It's
Yeah,
not.
you talk about Vinnie Vincent being hard to control. What about him?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure of it.
What a nightmare that guy
Yeah.
must be.
All right. Say what you will. Does
gonna
it hold up?
I'm gonna say no.
No.
I wrote not for me or anybody else.
No.
And on the 9th, I wrote on the 9th day, I stopped listening to this album.
I don't even think this holds up with the band.
No.
Or like with the Kiss community. You know what I mean?
It's terrible.
They're not even, like you said, they're not even playing some of these songs in
Yeah.
their tour.
Terrible.
So,
They might play Lick It Up on
yeah.
All right, next one. Fastway. And I got to ask Dennis, because I don't know Mark's answer.
What?
Because my answer is a little odd. How were you introduced to this band?
This band?
Other than this album.
Saw the video on MTV. Loved it.
Yep.
Say what you will. Then saw him live with AC/DC on Flick of the Switch tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then saw him again on Scorpions tour with what was it? Rock You Like a Hurricane tour, or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
They were still on this album. And then my brother is a fanatical Fastway fan, like obsessed with them. And
Yeah.
so-
I was same thing, video, and then went down to Interlight Records, bought the album,
Yep.
was hooked.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's funny. I was thinking like, I know exactly where I was when I was introduced. I was playing a wicked wiffle ball game at the backyard of the Zarakotis' house.
Oh God, you didn't know about them until
I did
90s?
not know that. So here's the reason why. So growing up on the Seacoast, you have, for music stations, you have any type of rock. You have HEB, and you can get BCN.
Yeah.
BCN was geared towards, the U2E type sound.
Yeah.
They played the classics, but
Yeah.
Jay Giles, and then they played some Zapp and Aerosmith stuff. Didn't have like new rock. You would never hear anything like that. HEB, they were like, REM, the Tubes, or they were like, you heard the classics, but you never got introduced. You guys had like AF.
Right.
That's
Oh,
a
you didn't
rock
get AF?
station. Oh, you can't get AF out here.
Yeah.
So you guys were.
True.
I was thinking of that.
Yeah.
I was like, why wasn't I introduced to this stuff? So radio had no play in my, it didn't come up. So when you introduced me to a Mark, I was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
I can remember standing in your backyard listening to this, and then was a fan after.
Yeah.
Totally.
I mean, you could argue that this is a super group.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Obviously you got Fast Eddie Clark from Motorhead. You got Jerry Shirley from Humble Pie. You got Pete Way essentially would have been in it from
UFO.
Dave King was new. He didn't have any background, but 3 to 4 guys.
Yep.
It's funny you mentioned the Jerry Shirley. After I listened to the album, did my stuff, and then went back, and I was like, I hear some like driving Humble Pie-ish type feel to some of these tunes.
Yeah, he's got that kind of swing feel to his drumming.
Swing and drive, like
Driving.
him and the bass player, they drive every song on this album.
Yeah.
I think.
I think he is. I wrote down like the hero of this album. The
Shirley?
sound. His drum
Oh
sound
yeah.
is unbelievable. I mean, obviously, Dave King's vocals is
Yep,
incredible.
phenomenal.
Obviously, the riffs that Fast Eddie's doing is amazing. But I think that he's just amazing. Those drums, they're up front, they're hard, they're heavy. Oh,
And who produced this? Eddie Kramer.
yeah,
He's
right.
got a
Boatload
track
of-
record.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, with Zeppelin. Yeah.
And that's where a lot of this comes from, right?
I think overall, this album is just, never got the credit.
No,
Never got the credit. Still doesn't get the credit that it should have got.
that's why we're keeping the torch alive by naming the podcast
Yeah.
after the frickin' song.
We did.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Let's
true.
dive in.
Hold on, one sec.
Wait a minute here.
Let's see. All right, yeah, we can dive in. I had some other stuff, but
This is something I never knew.
well, so and what's interesting is how Dave after this I don't know the timeline exactly, but Dave left, right? Or the band broke up.
86.
He was getting pressured to do work with Jeff Beck, and he declined. This is an article I read. And he declined working with Jeff Beck, and he started Flogging Molly, which is huge.
Yeah.
And a complete departure from.
Complete departure, but hugely successful.
There's something I didn't know, because I knew Pete Way never recorded the album.
No.
Right.
No.
They brought in Charlie McCracken. So I assume McCracken recorded it.
No, I think the second album he was involved. McCracken came in on All Fired Up.
Yeah, they got a guy, Rafaelito Benitez,
Yes.
played all the
Yeah.
bass.
Yeah.
When did
Never knew that.
It's
when
just a
did,
session guy.
Yeah.
when did Phil McCracken join? Did he?
Phil McCracken.
Ba-dum-bum. All right, first song, "Easy Living," single.
Great song.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Dave King, strong vocals.
Oh yeah.
Love that halftime change in it. They changed the tempo of the
Yeah.
song. Then I think they go back or something. Just coming, like we say on the first song of the album, coming out of the gate. Probably could have been, I don't remember what they opened with, but that's certainly an opener. Got that kind of tempo.
Yep.
Great song.
2 minutes 47 seconds.
Yeah.
In your face, boom.
Yep.
In and out.
Punch in the face.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I said right off the bat, heavy bass and drum driven, just moving it.
Yep.
It reminded me a little bit of a little rock and roll feel from Zepp.
Yeah, and obviously King's got some plant influence going on.
I didn't realize that until I really listened to this, and I was like, whoa.
Yep.
All right. This isn't me talking to you, Mark, but feel me, touch me, do anything you want.
Erica.
Great song. Again, 3 minutes 27 seconds. So these are quick songs. They're not
Quick.
what
To the point.
Yeah. no keyboards, just real simple.
Yeah.
You know,
Blues driven.
Oh, I wrote that. Very bluesy driven.
I mean, I think Clark's tone and his guitar tone, his riffs throughout this whole, just
the
a
solo
masterpiece.
section was great.
Masterpiece.
And this is almost a little surprising coming out of Motorhead.
Yeah.
It's a complete departure from what this guy's
Yeah.
doing in
Yeah,
Motorhead.
you're right.
Yeah.
You know, this must have been like he's secretly writing these songs by himself and wants to put a group together because he knows Lemmy's not going to play this style.
I thought I read that he was wanting to put together a Zeppy-ish type
He
of
did.
band.
But not Zepp to the
No, not to the copy.
Kingdom Come.
Right.
Yeah.
Just
You know.
influence. You could tell the influence.
Yeah.
I wrote great vocals. It was a very loose vocal melody, and it sounded so much good. So good.
That's why King is awesome on this track.
And the song feels very much live.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't feel like a produced song.
It's
It
like
feels
they just went in the studio and just hit play and they all play together.
or you're seeing it live. Like it just felt live.
Yeah.
Great bluesy solo breakdown.
Yeah.
And then very Zeppy feel coming the outro out of the solo. If you go back and listen, it's great.
Yeah.
All I Need Is Your Love.
Another Day, right? Did I skip one?
I think so.
Oh, I must have
Yeah,
skipped
All I Need Is Your Love.
Oh, that's a good tune, too.
Yeah.
Well, I know this.
Another great song.
Great tune.
2 minutes, 32 seconds.
I like
Holy
it.
crap. You know?
Boom, in and out.
Great tune. Though.
Awesome vocals.
Just the vocals
yeah.
are just there.
I wrote, even though, again, bass and drum driven, this feels like a Dave song. He drives it. I mean, just awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I said I'm not a fan of the timing signature, of course, but not much you could do. Oh,
The what?
I don't know the timing signature of the chorus. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the. Da, 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 da. Like he sings along the same chopped
singing
up
with the
timing, so I didn't really care for that. But I mean, it's pretty much all you can do with that type of timing.
Yeah.
All right, Another Day.
Yeah, this was a fun
love
song.
this song.
Oh God,
Yeah.
Slow start, then it just blows your head off.
King
I wrote-
awesome on this track. Great riff. I love everything about this
Yeah.
song.
Yeah, I wrote when it started. I was like, "Oh boy!" And then the riff kicks in.
I mean, you can feel it.
It's just like friggin'
You can
melt
feel
your
it in your
face.
chest.
Yep. And I said, so it has resemblance of Tell Me Why from the Scream, even though the Scream came out way later. If you go back and listen to Tell Me Why, the Scream,
you're right.
the Scream was very influenced by this.
Yep.
And yeah, very good. So, and then I wrote, I'm still very impressed with Dave's power. And the chorus, like the chorus vocally.
Well, I got King. It's like King's voice is getting better as
Yeah,
the
yeah.
album goes on.
Yeah.
Stronger. I'm
Yeah.
like, jeez.
Yep. What's next? Heft?
Yeah, this is a longer song. It's the longest song on the album. 5 minutes, 38 seconds. Slow blues. I like this. You know, it's powerful. You know, they brought it down. The song is, the tempo's down, but picks up, then moves back to that riff.
Yeah. I got another great one. Heavy Clark riff. More Great King. The outro is awesome
Yep.
on this one.
Oh,
When
yeah.
it fades out.
Yeah.
So I wrote big ass bass chords coming in,
Oh, yeah.
driving the song, and then it seemed like I had a little Levy's break feel.
Yeah, I mean, you could. There's hints of Zeppelin all over this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
Oh,
arguing that.
Were you talking about that? I said the section coming out of the solo of the song is very Zeppy and just amazing.
Yeah.
And Dave's starting to get into doing some plant type tonality
His
and
voice
scream.
then is
It's awesome.
untouchable.
Next side is We Become One.
I go, wow, another awesome riff.
Yeah, this is a
Love the
great song.
change they do in it. Classic. Just love it.
Great way to open the second side.
And then it goes back to the original riff. It's awesome.
Heavy verses, then it goes into a bluesy chords over the bridge, and then Dave's doing some plant screams. This is a signature change I wrote. It's very cool. It's like almost like 2 songs.
Right.
They do a change and they go back to it. It's awesome.
Yep. Then I wrote "Love the Riff Under the Solo." It's the same as another section. And then the fade out of the song I wrote, it kind of breaks into this other riff. There's a whole other.
Love the outro.
Yeah.
Is that the doodle?
Yeah. I was like, oh, this is a cool little. I actually turned it up so I could hear more of it. Give it all you got.
Another really solid track. More Clark, catchy riff. More great King.
Yeah. King's vocals are really strong on this.
Yeah, his vocals.
I mean,
every song
this
is great.
not the best song on the album,
No.
but still a good. I mean,
I made it as probably one of my least favorites,
Right.
and it seems like they were trying to write another commercially type tune. It reminded of a band that once wrote "Can't Get It Right" and tried to make a radio-ready song.
Yeah.
Dennis, you know that tune, right?
No.
Can't Get It Right?
No. I'll find it on iTunes.
No, you won't.
No, you won't. Good luck.
What's this next song? This "Say What You Will."
Yeah. So, interestingly, I thought I noticed this wasn't a single originally.
What?
It was We Became One in Easy Living was noted as the single, and then Say What You Will came.
That
But
became it though, right?
They right. Well, they put the video that was put to this. I mean, this is the introduction to Fastway for me.
Yeah.
I mean, this was just.
What was the video? Just live?
Just playing.
Yeah, like
Really.
in an alley or
Yeah,
something
just-
like that. But it just showed them as just being. It was almost like AC/DC.
Well, like
where they were
Tesla.
These
Guys are just jeans and T-shirts.
Shirley co-wrote this one. This is an anthem. This is like we talked about Krokus, Eat the Rich, and then you've got some of these defining songs. And to me, this was this.
Yeah,
I'm sure we weren't alone. To say what you will. I mean, a lot of people probably said, "Yeah, this is the song."
Well, my wife she's not a huge hard rock fan, but she likes rock.
Yeah.
And sometimes on the 70s or 80s channel, we'll cover up what's coming next and see who can name it first. And she's a fan, but like she knows the song and she loves the
right.
song.
I think
like,
everybody knows it. They probably don't know who sings it,
yeah,
but it
she
comes on the
does.
radio and everyone knows the song. And it's like, I don't know who's, it's a one-hit wonder kind of.
Like when you
scenario.
hear the originality of this, right? The riff that Fast Eddie's doing, Clark, like that you can't say, "Oh, that sounds like this," or "That sounds like that."
No.
Like the creativity here is just. I don't think any of the. Well, there's like you can say like his vocals sound like Plant and all that, but I think for the most part, a lot of these songs were. Very creative, the riffs and so forth. We just got done reviewing Kiss, and we're saying, oh, that's Dawkins, that's, Judas Priest, or that's Iron Maiden. But great song.
But going back to structuring and spending time, it sounds like they spent this time on these songs.
Yep.
I mean, that Say What You Will song is perfect.
Yeah,
every part of that
it is
song
perfect.
is
It's a perfect song.
What about that?
There's no weak parts. There's no lick it up shit going
Right.
on.
What about
There's no bad lyric.
What about the
No bad lyrics.
What about the drums in that song?
Oh my
When
God.
the drums come.
That's just
The
awesome.
bass and the
Yeah.
it's just
It was just-
driving.
Well produced, well structured. They put the time in with every facet of these songs. Yeah, there's a couple songs that are great as others, but Say What You Will, there's nothing wrong with.
No.
There's nothing you could pick with that song. Like weak.
Yeah.
You know what would be a fascinating interview if they were able to give some, Eddie Kramer and say, Eddie, talk about the recording of the Fastway album. Even though it wasn't one of the more popular ones you've done
Yeah,
everything.
huge stuff.
Talk a little bit about how
Yeah.
that was compiled and how that album was made. And we all know the end of the story, right? But I mean, talk about that experience. It'd be interesting to hear from him, because Fast Eddie is gone. He died, and King distances himself from all the hard rock stuff.
Yeah. Reach out to him. See if
I'll give him a call. Yeah, have him over the house.
Right. Well, and you could say the same thing for Bob Rock, right? And he's done the Metallicas and the Motley Crues, but you could talk to him about the Electric Boys coming into Groovis Maximus.
Yeah.
Which is a masterpiece album.
Yeah.
I think they'd probably be, like when people talk to Eddie Kramer does any interview, what's he talking about? Led Zeppelin, probably, right?
Yeah, he's done Led Zeppelin, David Bowie.
Kind of cool. No one, we're the only one talking about Fastway. I mean, I bet you, it'd be interesting to kind of, I don't know, maybe that exists somewhere on the YouTube universe.
Well, he did the second Fastway album too, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as good as the first album.
No.
But it's still really good.
All right, here we go. Next one. You Got Me Running.
I got okay song. Not as good as the last 8 we got hit with. But it's a good song. Okay song.
I wrote the same. Okay. Second one that didn't really resonate with all the other massive tunes.
Yep, agreed. But our standards, the bar's high here.
Yeah.
I mean, you're listening to this after these 8 songs. I mean, after Say What You Will, man. I mean, we're like, oh my God.
Hey, they got more in a row than Journey got with this Frontiers, right?
Yeah.
But even this song isn't gonna be like, it's not terrible. It's just not at the same level, right?
No.
There was songwriting that is.
Yeah. All right, I had the same thing. And then Give It Some Action. I wrote, okay, it's okay out of 11 songs to have 3 kind of, like,
just common.
I mean,
they got a straight ahead rock track.
Yeah.
Not creating anything new.
Right.
Solid.
Yep. All right, you want to jump to the last one here?
Yep.
So, I didn't realize this, but Far, Far From Home was a separate promotional single included in the first vinyl LP pressing. Really? It was not on the original cassette version and not included in the follow-up LP editions, but it is included as a track on the compact disc edition.
Huh.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah. I thought this was on the tape. I had the tape. This wasn't on the tape?
No. I heard that. This was kind of...
But, oh my God. So we've kind of touched on a couple of Zeppy feels for these guys. Yeah. Holy smokes!
Yeah.
But it's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, it's Zeppy but still being original.
Yeah.
Just like nuances of Zeppelin without just blatantly ripping off.
Yeah, I would love to hear Dave back then cover Zeppelin.
Oh my God!
Like he could probably nail it.
Yeah. He just
Clark's had a good solo in it too.
Yes. Yep.
Super long, Dennis. What's the length on this?
5 minutes. 5:29.
Yeah.
Good tune.
I mean, I recognize Clark's a good guitar player and his solos, but his riffs are just... I mean, he's a riff master.
Yeah.
Or he was.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what happened, later in his career, but, he ended up, disappearing somewhat. But, Jesus,
Yeah.
Incredible.
Well, good tune. All right. Well, Say What You Will. Does the Fastway album still hold up?
So I'll go first.
Yeah.
Okay, if you don't mind. First I'm gonna say yes, and I'm just gonna say this is, like I said earlier, one of the most underrated albums I can think of. This is like, if you can identify 5 albums or 3 out, this is one of them. Anyone listening to this podcast, if this is the first time you're hearing about it, find it, buy it, and enjoy it. Because I'm telling you, I believe it holds up. So,
I could say...
I mean, you're partying to this thing.
One of the greatest albums of the 80s written.
Yeah.
One of the greatest albums.
There's no duds.
No duds. No. There's songs that aren't as strong as the others.
Right.
But those songs aren't even bad.
Yeah. There was a guy on Twitter that posted this album and said, hey, I just found out about these guys. What do you think or whatever? And I wrote back saying, hey, we're going to be reviewing it this weekend.
I saw that.
Looks,
Great album.
I was like, again, I was never aware of them. Yeah. And holy smokes.
Great.
Yeah.
I put this album up against anything that came out in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know? Great.
Cool. Any last comments from either of you?
Nope. As usual, learned a lot.
Yeah.
You know, great.
Well, I didn't know the bass player played on this album. I never knew. I thought Charlie McCracken was the bass on this.
Came in this all fired up.
This guy was Rafaelito Benitez.
Yeah.
That's all I got. Not much more.
Well, for those out there, first time listening or been following the podcast, get on the podcast catchers that you use, Apple, Spotify, whatever. Give us a review. Give us some feedback. That'll be good. Follow on socials, on Twitter, Say What You Will podcast. And in the show notes down below, you'll see the link to the new Facebook group that hopefully we get some conversation happening after the podcast or between the podcast. And so next albums, you want me to say that?
Yeah.
Next album's for May. Oh, and we're going to try to do something cool in June. We'll let you know if it happens, but that'll be awesome if we can pull it off.
It'll be fun.
That'll be a lot of fun. So next album's in May. Dio, Holy Diver. You ever heard of it? Iron Maiden, Peace of Mind. Another.
Yeah.
And then Blackfoot. How do you say that? What is that?
What's the name of the album?
Surgo?
Yeah.
Again, it's funny. When I read this, I was like, "Oh, Blackfoot, what?" But I'll probably mention it more next week. A buddy that I went out to California with, met out in California, musician. He was recently playing in Blackfoot, and I'll share some videos of him playing with them.
Oh, cool!
Super talented guitar player, Tim Rossi. And,
you mentioned him to me before.
Yeah, I played his demos back in the day. But he was touring with them for the last 3 years, and I don't know if what he's doing now or what Blackfoot's doing. But good southern hard rock band that we'll check out.
Maybe we'll find that next Fastway album. You know what I mean? With some of these newer albums, you never know. Going back, you know.
Yep.
All right, cool. Well, check us on the socials and peace.